Hey there, good morning. It's Sunday and I'm starting off a quick 1-week trip through Poland with an organized tour group. Yep, I'm a solo traveler joining up with a group of total strangers, riding in a bus, visiting places, and having meals together. Just curious, is that something you would do? Let me know in the comments. I know people who would never do it and others who do it often. This morning we are leaving Warsaw, the national capital city of Poland, and heading north to the port city of Gdansk. On the way, we'll stop for lunch at a place serving traditional Polish dishes, and that should be interesting. And then we'll stop again to make a visit to Malbork Castle, which dates back to the 13th century and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And finally, we'll reach Gdansk and check into our hotel, which is located in the historical center of one of Europe's most underrated cities. So it's a busy day ahead. Let's get going. Warsaw, the capital and largest city of Poland, is located on the Vistula River in the east-central part of the country. With a population at nearly 2 million people and over 3 million within the greater metropolitan area, Warsaw is the 6th most populous city in the European Union. From our hotel, we headed northward through the central city, then the suburbs, and into the flat agricultural region of northern Poland. And along the way, our tour director, Jolanta, described the day's agenda and gave us informative commentary.
A spectacular view of old town with royal castle, but also we see already for the second time. Yesterday we saw Vistula and today we'll follow Vistula, but here in Warsaw we can see it even better for a moment. There will be, after first break, 2 hours approximately drive and then lunch stop. Lunch is not included, but there's a really very good place where you can choose what you want. I will help translating. Hanseatic League cities, Elbląg, Hansa. Are you familiar with such a word? It's Germanic, Hansa. If I say Luft, Hansa, air group. Hansa means a group, and to translate in medieval times, Hanseatic League, it was like European Union, trade Union, not trade organization, Union for European, Northern European cities, not even countries, cities. And in Poland there were a couple of them, like Elbląg, Gdańsk, what else? Toruń, not even being by the sea. Elbląg, it's not by the sea, but by the Elbląg River, connected with the Baltic. And it was like, exchanging goods on preferential way. Grain mostly was shipped here, and Elbląg, as one of the Hanseatic League cities, had the privilege to storage grain, for which, of course, charged tax.
At about noon, it was time for lunch at a roadside restaurant that our tour director told us was serving up some pretty good Polish food, and advised us that English would be a challenge and that she would help.
But if we make a line, I will be talking to people. If you order together and pay together, then we make the order. If you prefer to go to KFC, feel free. Yes, no problem. Maybe different experience. And okay, suggestion. Entrance on the left. Can you see there is like a board saying grill bar right now? Nova Hollandia, this is the name of the place. Yeah. Okay, so here on the right we enter. I show you where are toilets, and immediately on the left there is the place where we start ordering. You make a line and I will be like translating for two. If you are three, whoever wants to pay together. Okay, and please have a little bit of patience if I do it like couple by couple. Or individual by individual, it is much faster.
Rest stop for lunch. In addition to the fine restaurant here, there was some sort of an amusement park that I guess would have a local or regional draw, but it wasn't busy the day we were there. In fact, the lady staffing the ticket counter seemed a bit bored. Some kind of a theme park, not quite sure. Looks like they have various activities. And I think we are here. hand.
And very fertile land give us a chance, in a moment you will see really fields with a lot of vegetables and so on. This is the garden for Gdańsk. Gdańsk is pretty big city, but first we go to Malbork and then we have a guided visit with Boguś, excellent guide. Allotments on the right, you see another one. Look, really nice garden, green little houses, playing grounds, small swimming pools, grill places, sometimes Polish flag. So this is part of our, social life. Like a little village in the city, yes? So really nice as well. Dutch settlers were the one who brought to Poland two types of trees. Weeping willows, which are now the most common trees. They like weeping willows like the wet ground, and poplar trees.
Soon after lunch, we arrived at the Castle of the Teutonic Order in Malbork, commonly known as Malbork Castle. It's a brick Gothic castle complex located in the town of Malbork, Poland, built in the 13th and expanded in the 14th century. It is the largest castle in the world measured by land area and a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
They lived at the lower castle and then came here to work as bakers and cooks. Look at the clothes, look at the uniforms.
Well, Malbork Castle is certainly one of the most photogenic castles I've visited in Europe. As you leave the castle grounds, you have opportunity for ice cream, souvenirs, refreshments, and it's a nice walk across the bridge to get to the parking area. Then it was a relatively short drive on local roads through farmland and villages to reach our destination for the night, the city of Gdansk, a port city on the Baltic Sea. As we got closer to central Gdansk, Jolanta gave us a rundown of what to expect when we got to the hotel.
When we arrived to the hotel, we check in. Big suitcases, the one with the red labels, will be delivered by porters to your room. So you just take your carry-on here, or if you loaded something to the compartment of the bus. And 7 o'clock, let's meet in the lobby by the reception, and I walk you to the dining room for dinner buffet. So we have one drink included, like it was yesterday as well. And tomorrow easy. Enjoy the breakfast from 6:30. 9 o'clock city tour, and we meet in the lobby a few minutes before 9. And ladies and gentlemen, tonight, and you will go to the front of the hotel, but you will realize that the street, it's just size of the bus to drive in. So tomorrow we meet in the lobby and we'll walk to the main street, because when we don't need to unload, I will not bring the bus to the front of the hotel.
Okay, room tour here at the Radisson Blu Hotel in Gdansk, Poland. Let's have a look before it gets messy. Check out the view. It's a view of one of the small streets. Here's the ground floor lobby area. And the restaurant where breakfast is served is right in there. Here is the bar. Reception desk. Overall, a nice hotel. And with the great weather we had the next morning, we set out to explore the city of Gdansk. Gdansk is a port city situated on the Baltic coast of northern Poland. With a population of nearly 500,000, it is Poland's sixth largest city and its major seaport. Gdansk was first mentioned in the year 999 when the fishing settlement was part of the early Polish state and became its first defensive stronghold. From there it grew into an important shipbuilding and trade port, and during the Middle Ages was a major member of the Hanseatic League, which influenced its economic, demographic, and urban landscape. In the 1980s, Gdansk was the birthplace of the Solidarity Trade Union movement, which helped precipitate the collapse of the Eastern Bloc, the fall of the Berlin Wall, and the dissolution of the Warsaw Pact. Today, Gdansk is among the most visited cities in Poland. It's a relatively wealthy city within Poland and enjoys a high quality of life. Its historic city center has been listed as one of Poland's national monuments. In other words, this is a great place for travelers from all over the world to visit. So, our day was dedicated to exploring some of the highlights of this great city. We began by loading onto the bus and heading to the port area. Such an important part of the history and economy of Gdansk is its port and trade. As usual, Yolanda gave us the lowdown.
So we are going to see the place where the Solidarity movement was born. Then from there we are going to drive towards the historical city center, and the last part of the tour will be the walking tour, and as it was mentioned already, this is going to be the last time you will see the bus today. But I will warn you about that once again to remind you that. So as you can see here in Gdańsk, we are going to be dealing with a long and quite complicated history. Because, as I was telling you, Gdańsk is the place where the Second World War started, the place where the changes in post-war Poland started. So we have a lot of topics to deal with, including the so-called Polish-German issue.
Here's a place where the river empties into the Baltic Sea, and where visitors such as us can take a look at the port, do some ship spotting, watch any activity that might be taking place on the water, and read the informational displays about the port's history and significance. A short distance from the port is the European Solidarity Center, which houses a museum, library, and visitor center devoted to the history of solidarity, the Polish trade union and civil resistance movement that contributed to the fall of communism in Europe and the dissolution of the Warsaw Pact. The monument to the fallen shipyard workers commemorates the tragic events of December 1970, when workers' strikes and demonstrations took place in Gdansk and were brutally suppressed by the police and the army. The historic gate to the Gdansk shipyard is the place where shipyard workers protested and were brutally suppressed in 1970 and again in 1980, when shipyard workers led by Lech Walesa striked to protest high food prices. Oh, check out this old telephone booth from communist times. Entering the library and museum complex, you immediately become absorbed in the neo-brutalist architectural design that incorporates elements such as rusty metal siding that evoke the hulls of ships built at the Gdansk shipyard. It's a design that creates a dramatic and ominous presence. Following our visit to the Solidarity Center, we returned to the historic center of Gdansk to spend the rest of the day. Entering through the imposing Highland Gate, originally constructed in 1575 and was once the main entrance to Gdansk and also served as a defensive fortification. A great way to enter the city. Attackers would have to enter one gate and then go through this area, dangerous to them, and enter the second gate into the town. If you trespassed through this gate and actually survived, you might be placed in these. Once inside the city gates, we are presented with the amazing streetscape and architecture of this place, this showpiece of Hanseatic League wealth and influence. Let's take a walk and explore this gem of a city. So pretty much this was all destroyed during World War II and has been faithfully reconstructed in great detail. There's the entrance to the town hall. This is called the Long Market. It's actually serves at the town square. One of the big tourist products here is amber.
I will pay cash. Yes.
On the street, plenty of opportunity to shop for amber. Some interesting beers here. Oh, Tatra, look at that. Look at that tower on the town hall. Let's see if we can go to the top of it.
But I think we can still walk towards
All right, here is the terrace. Wow.
Svatojanská ulica, jeden z nejstarších gdaňských kostelů svatého Jana, se proměnil.
Yeah.